For this exercise, we'll be exploring value. We've already learned that value is the lightness or darkness of a color. Without light, there is no value, and we also wouldn't be able to see anything. Light reflects off of objects and goes into our eyes. Our minds process that light and rationalize what we are seeing. Understanding light and how it reacts on surfaces allows us to draw or paint in a way that creates a believable illusion of what we normally see. The key to illusion of light is value, and that is why it is so incredibly important to drawing and painting. Let's take this circle for example. It's just a plain two-dimensional shape. But by using value, we can change this 2D shape into a believable three-dimensional form. First of all, we'll add the brightest area, or the highlight. Then we'll add the darkest area, the core shadow. Next, the medium dark value of the cast shadow. And then a slightly lighter value of the reflected light. And so you can see how by just changing values, we can completely change the way something looks. Highlight, core shadow, cast shadow, reflected light, and middle or transitional grays. Successful drawings and paintings generally have a full range of value. Full range means that there will be a good amount of light values, called tints, balanced with a good amount of dark values, called shades. To be sure that you have accurate values, you can use a value scale. Many artists use value scales as they work, including myself. So we'll do that now. We'll create a value scale. This will be something you'll want to keep on hand as a tool for future drawings. So start off by very lightly penciling a grid of 1 inch by 1 inch squares, 11 of them side by side. Mark them 0 to 10 underneath or over, whichever you prefer. Leave square 0 completely white, and then go ahead and fill in square 10 as black as you can get it. If you have the artist's graphite pencils, then 8B will be your best bet for square 10, as it will be the softest of your graphite. And of course, for your lightest values, you'd want to use the HB or 2B pencils, as those are the hardest of the soft graphites. After doing square 10, I like to do the two middle squares as they're the halfway point, and then do the remaining squares after that. It just kind of gives you a little bit better gauge of how light or dark you need to go with the other squares on either side of that. You may be wondering how I'm getting such an even tone here. First of all, I'm holding my pencil way back and very lightly. Especially for the lighter values, I do not need a death grip on my pencil. Secondly, I'm using a technique called cross-hatching. Basically, it's drawing in strokes in one direction. That's hatching. And drawing them across that direction is cross-hatching. I repeat it over and over, trying to keep the pressure on my pencil even until individual lines are harder to see. I may even do some diagonally. As you work, if you're using Stonehenge paper, don't press down hard right away for the other squares, squares 2 through 9. Aside from square 10, you can totally dig in there with that 8B pencil. Go softly, laying down layers of graphite very gradually. Once you press all the way down with this kind of paper, you can never really erase it completely clean again. So just keep that in mind. Even with regular printer paper or bond paper, you'll want to be patient and go in layers. As I said, you can do this on regular printer paper, but I like to use a Stonehenge paper for this along with my graphite pencils. I've tried this with charcoal, but charcoal seems to be way too soft and crumbly, and you can't get the really light grays out of it. It's great for the really dark value, but not so much with the light values. The reason I like Stonehenge paper is because you can really press down and get a really dark dark. Also, the newsprint isn't ideal here because it's just not white. It's kind of that off-white, either brownish or grayish, depending on the brand that you get. But if you can get past that and in your mind know that square 0 is equal to white, then by all means use it. If you choose to use a newsprint, know that you can use pencil here instead of the charcoal as well. So when all of your squares are filled in, it should appear to have a nice even transition from light to dark. If you blur your eyes and look at your chart, there shouldn't be any drastic jumps from one value to the next. So that's it for this unit, and good luck with your value charts. You can post these too if you like.